One of these engines looked almost untouched after 100,000 miles. One showed the kind of layered wear that surprises owners who thought they were doing everything right. And the oldest engine in this test, the one everyone in the shop expected to struggle, delivered a result that made us stop and rethink what winning actually means at this mileage. We pulled 3 of the most iconic Mustang engines, ran compression testing, leak down checks, and oil analysis before the teardown, and then we opened them up. The results were not what anyone predicted. 3 engines, 3 different eras of Mustang engineering. Let us get into it. Engine 1, the 2.3 EcoBoost. The 2.3 EcoBoost entered the Mustang lineup in 2015 as a turbocharged direct-injected 4-cylinder with output ranging from around 310 to 330 horsepower depending on model year and trim. When Ford announced it would power the Mustang, the reaction was immediate. Purists were not convinced a turbocharged 4-cylinder belonged in an American muscle car. What changed the minds was the performance. The 2.3 found its audience, buyers who wanted Mustang looks and handling without the fuel bill of a V8. Compression and leak down numbers before teardown were within acceptable range. Normal operation on the surface, nothing that suggested what was about to appear on the bench. The intake valves. The 2.3 uses direct injection. Fuel sprays directly into the combustion chamber and never contacts the intake valves. Without fuel washing the valve faces on each intake stroke, oil vapor from the PCV system coats the back of the valves with each heat cycle. At 100,000 miles, the carbon accumulation on this engine was significant. That buildup restricts airflow, degrades idle quality, and costs real money to address. Walnut media blasting at a shop runs approximately $300 to $600 depending on the engine and labor rate. These engines come in at 80,000 miles, with owners describing the car as feeling flat. No codes, nothing obvious. Scope the intake valves and the deposits tell the story immediately. The engine is not failing, it is suffocating. Clean the valves and the throttle response returns on the same drive home. The engine was never broken, it was dirty. The turbocharger. This is where the teardown got genuinely interesting. The turbo did not fail, but it was the first component on the entire bench that looked like it had spent 100,000 miles fighting for its life. Bearing wear consistent with the thermal cycles a Mustang driving pattern imposes. An owner who uses the boost regularly, which is most of them because that's what the car is built for, runs the turbo harder and hotter than a commuter vehicle with the same engine would. Every hard pull from a stoplight, every on-ramp merge at full throttle, every canyon run, the turbo absorbs all of it. At 100,000 miles of Mustang driving, that accumulates at 100,000 miles. The cam phasers. The cam phasers showed wear consistent with elevated oil temperatures, measurable. A technician would flag them for monitoring at the next service interval. Not a crisis, a countdown. 2.3 EcoBoost verdict. In this teardown, the 2.3 EcoBoost showed the most maintenance-sensitive wear picture of the 3 engines. The complexity that makes the power possible also creates maintenance touchpoints that do not exist on simpler designs. The carbon pathway, the turbo-thermal load, the phaser sensitivity. These do not announce themselves as a single catastrophic failure. They arrive together quietly at the same mileage and hand the owner a bill that surprises them. The 2.3 is a capable engine that belongs in the Mustang. It's also an engine that rewards disciplined ownership more than either V8 alternative and makes deferred maintenance more expensive faster. In this test, it showed exactly what happens when real-world Mustang driving meets 100,000 miles of accumulated heat. Engine 2, the 5.0 Coyote V8. The 5.0 Coyote is what most people picture when they say Mustang GT. Naturally aspirated, 5 liters, no turbocharger, no boost pressure, no charge pipes, an engine that makes its power by displacing a large volume of air and fuel on each combustion cycle. Compression numbers before teardown were strong across all 8 cylinders. Leak down was tight. The oil sample showed normal wear metals for the mileage. This engine was ready for the bench. The intake valves. When we opened it, the difference from the EcoBoost was immediate. The Coyote on our bench used port injection. Fuel sprayed into the intake port on every intake stroke, washing the valve face and carrying away deposits before they accumulate. The intake valve condition was dramatically better than the EcoBoost. No threshold where walnut blasting becomes necessary. No restriction building in the ports. Port injection is older technology than direct injection. At this mileage, that older technology is the difference between a clean valve and a shop appointment. The core advantage is the same across generations, avoiding the intake valve carbon problem that comes with a pure direct injection layout. The cylinder condition and VCT. The cylinder condition was strong, ring seal consistent across all 8 cylinders. The VCT system, variable cam timing, showed some normal wear at this mileage, which belongs in any honest assessment. Fewer carbon-related complications and no turbocharger, but still normal wear items like any modern V8. What it doesn't have is the layered complexity of a direct injection turbocharged engine accumulating multiple maintenance needs at the same mileage. The naturally aspirated architecture spent 100,000 miles making power without building boost pressure. No turbo bearings absorbing heat soak after every hard run, no carbon pathway on the intake valves. A simpler wear picture than the EcoBoost in almost every category that matters at this mileage. 5.0 Coyote verdict. Standing at the bench looking at the Coyote results after the EcoBoost teardown, the outcome felt obvious. This was a strong engine that had aged well, the kind of result that matches the Coyote's reputation. Everyone in the shop was comfortable calling it. The Coyote had taken the lead. The margin looked comfortable. Then we opened the 4.6. Engine 3, the 4.6 Modular V8. The 4.6 Modular V8 powered Mustang GT models from the mid-90s through 2010 across multiple generations. The SN95, the new Edge, the S197. 18 years and millions of miles. An engine that most of the Mustang community knows personally, whether they owned one, worked on one, or watched one pull away at a stoplight. Everyone in the shop assumed it would be the most worn of the three, oldest design, built in an era before modern manufacturing refinements and variable valve timing, the one with the most platform age behind it. Then we saw something on the cylinder walls that changed the entire ranking. The cylinder condition. The 4.6 Modular's block design has proven durable over high mileage with strong cylinder wear characteristics across many versions. At 100,000 miles, what we found was less measurable wear in this comparison than either of the other two on the bench. Ring seal was strong, compression consistent across all 8 cylinders. The engine had been running cleanly and sealing well for its entire service life. This was not what anyone expected. There was a pause in the shop when the numbers came back. We checked them again. The oldest engine on the bench had the strongest internal cylinder condition of the three. The valve train. The 4.6 uses a simpler valve train architecture than the Coyote's dual independent variable cam timing system. Simpler means fewer components accumulating wear. The overhead cam design is proven across decades and millions of miles in police interceptors, taxis, and weekend drivers alike. The valve train components showed less fatigue than either of the engines built decades later to replace it. No direct injection intake valve carbon issue on the 4.6. Fuel is delivered upstream of the intake valves, washing the faces on every intake stroke. After 100,000 miles, the intake valves were clean. No walnut blast required, no restriction building in the ports. What the 4.6 doesn't have tells as much of the story as what it does. No turbocharger introducing heat silk variables, no direct injection carbon pathway, no complex electronically controlled cam phaser system accumulating wear at multiple points simultaneously. The architecture is simpler than either of the engines that replaced it, and in this teardown, simpler produced less accumulated wear. It makes less power than the Coyote, it's less fuel efficient. It doesn't have the high revving character that makes the Coyote genuinely exciting to drive. What it has is decades of parts availability, widespread machine shop familiarity, and rebuild economics that work in the owner's favor when the time eventually comes. High-mileage 4.6 Mustangs still pulling hard past 150,000 miles on the original bottom end are not rare because those owners got lucky. They're not rare because the engine was built with margins that modern complexity sometimes trades away in pursuit of power and efficiency numbers. The oldest engine on the bench wasn't supposed to win anything, yet it walked away with the cleanest internals in the entire test. Final verdict: what winning actually means at 100,000 miles. 3 engines, 3 different eras of Mustang engineering. One result that was harder to call than anyone going into this test expected. The 2.3 EcoBoost showed the most maintenance-sensitive wear picture in this test. Direct injection carbon, turbo bearing condition, cam phaser wear. Not catastrophic in isolation, but arriving together at the same mileage in a way that creates a real and compounding maintenance cost. The 2.3 is a capable engine that belongs in the Mustang. It is also the engine on this bench that punishes deferred maintenance faster and more expensively than either alternative. The 5.0 Coyote is an outstanding engine. Clean intake valves, strong cylinder condition, a wear picture that matches its long-standing reputation for real-world durability. If performance and driving character are the metrics, if what you want is the best Mustang engine at 100,000 miles that is still genuinely exciting to drive, the Coyote wins this test. It is not close. The 4.6 Modular was the result nobody predicted. The oldest engine, the least powerful, the most skeptics in the room going in, and the least wear on the bench when we opened it. A simpler valve train than either modern engine, no direct injection carbon pathway, a cylinder condition that held up better in this comparison than either of the engines that replaced it. So what does winning actually mean here? If winning means most powerful at 100,000 miles, the 5.0 Coyote wins. It is not close. If winning means least internal wear in this teardown, the 4.6 Modular wins. The data on the bench said so clearly. If winning means best value across the full ownership period, factoring in maintenance cost structure, parts availability, and rebuild economics, the 4.6 makes a stronger argument than its age should allow. The Mustang community has spent 10 years debating EcoBoost versus Coyote. This teardown adds a different question to that debate. The engine the Coyote replaced walked into this test and earned the result that changes how that conversation should go. The oldest engine on the bench was not supposed to win anything. And yet, drop a comment and tell me which of these three engines you own or are considering, and how many miles you're at right now. The Ford Longevity Blueprint covering maintenance intervals and inspection checkpoints for all three of these engines is linked in the description. If this helped you, subscribe. See you in the next one.